Okay, welcome to this week's call, everybody. My name is Jackie Boyle, and I have the utmost pleasure of being able to host this call for no other than Dr. Joseph Ahrens, dual-nominated Nobel Prize scientist, and he is the creator behind two of the products that we know of, being Emulin and 24/7. But this week's call, we're talking about continuing on with the knowledge base of our diet and how we can look at addressing our food choices and lifestyle choices, but also managing our body and body management. So that comes in many platforms. So I'm very excited about this and to welcome you to the call, Dr. Ahrens. How are you?
Thank you very much for that introduction. Yeah, I'm great, ready to get going.
I have to honestly say, I know that you're living in the Bahamas, and there is a big difference to me coming into summer now. I'm feeling quite pale. You look like you've been out in the sun and enjoying the sunlight in the Bahamas.
Well, I can't help it. Just walk outside right there on the Tropic of Cancer line. So yeah, it's pretty intense.
So before we get started, I'd like to really welcome the new people onto the call today too, because I know we've got some new people as well. So we thank you so much for those that have invited others, and we hope that you get the benefits from this. So I'll hand it over to you, Dr. Ahrens.
Oh, thank you very much. We've been talking about diet for the last several weeks, and we started out by talking about the main parts of a diet that you need to consider, like proteins and fats and carbohydrates, and then your vitamins. And that's really all there is into a diet. We don't have any other classes other than that. Protein, which is not only your muscles, but it's your enzymes are made out of protein. Your hair is made out of protein. Fats, which is not just storage, but it's a source of energy. And carbohydrates, which are definitely all about energy, especially quick release energy. And then we went into started talking about different types of diets and the pros and cons of them. We covered the Atkins diet, which was the first real super popular and super low carb diet. And that gets you into ketosis, which makes your body switch from using sugar as a fuel into using ketones. For you, that just means you burn fat instead of sugar. One of the problems with that diet is that it actually doesn't have enough carbs. If you're going to, for instance, exercise and build muscle, you need a certain amount of carbs in your diet in order to build muscle. But it is a way to lose weight. And people do report losing weight rapidly on that diet. It can put a strain in your kidneys because of the high concentration of protein. So you have to monitor yourself, and there's actually strips that you can buy in the store, pharmacies, drugstores, ketosis strips, where you actually take a urine sample and pee on a little strip, and it tells you if you are now switched over into ketosis, and you stay on that as long as you want. I don't think it's good for long term, but look, I'm not here to tell one person or another what kind of diet they need to be on. They just need to know the main types of diets, and then they can choose accordingly. Then we moved on to that into the caveman diet, the primal diet, which is carbohydrates more than like 20 grams a day. So something like Atkins is less than 20. They like to be down in 5 and 10 grams of carbohydrates a day. Get into a low carb diet, that's like 20 to 50 grams. So you do not go into ketosis, but you also don't have a lot of carbs, refined carbs in your diet. A lot of people don't like that because it's kind of restrictive. They say, don't eat pasta. Just forget it. Don't eat pasta. Try not to eat rice. Don't eat potatoes. And that's a little restrictive to a lot of people. I think it's the closest diet that is natural for humans. I told everyone that I didn't study what all these diets were, Atkins diet and caveman diet, paleo diet, South Beach diet. I just developed my own diet on thinking about what do I understand as a physiologist. And then when I put it together, I realized I was very close to a paleo diet. And I use a modified paleo diet. That is, I cheat 20% of the time, at least 1 or 2 days a week. I just eat whatever I want to. I will have potatoes. I will have pasta. I might have a piece of toast in the morning. So I don't stay on it strictly, because you know what? The only diet that's ever going to work for you is the one you're going to stick to. So it doesn't matter how nice it is and how perfect for your own body. You don't stick to it, you're not going to have success. So that's how it works for me. I try to stay under 50 grams of carbs a day. It's very difficult because, you know, all of you probably know I like beer. Just a couple of beers, I get over that 50-gram level. And we're going to move on now to talk about a couple of other diets. We're going to talk about the blood type diet, and we're going to talk about the South Beach diet. And so when we're through talking about all these diets, you'll see, you know, which ones work for you. You can, of course, Google them yourself and see the exact ingredients of these different diets. Choose one that works for you. Now, ultimately, if you're trying to lose weight, you need to have a deficit of calories. You need to figure out what your own basal rate is, that your type of activity, your lifestyle, how many calories do you need to maintain your current body weight? And then if you're going to lose weight, you just have to have less calories than you require, and you'll lose weight. So if it's 2,000 calories a day, you need to go up to 1,800 and lose weight slowly. Now, once you've decided to do that, the type of calories are definitely important. It is not like a lot of nutritionists like to say, oh, it's just calories in and calories out. No, it's not, because some calories will go right to fat and other calories will be burned up in your brain and your muscles. So it's not just so many calories and you're going to make, you can actually go make fat even on a calorie deficit diet. You can become fat at the expense of muscle mass. So pick and choose carefully. So we're going to start out next talking about the blood type diet. And I may or may not make enemies on this, but let's go into it. So we have the blood types, you know, O, A, B, and AB. And there's also positive and negative, but those 4 different ones there, O, A, B, and AB, those are the major blood types. A doctor came up with the idea that different blood types digest foods differently. And so they need to eat things that most suit their blood type. So the O is heavy on meat. It's really, a lot of people say it is probably the closest to a caveman paleo or an Atkins diet, but it's heavy on meat, but it does let you have carbs. It does let you have fruits. And in particular, though, it avoids wheat and it avoids almost all carbs. So it's heavy on lean meat, and it is very restrictive on wheat. And we get into the B type, and that's more of a vegetarian diet. It avoids most meats and also avoids wheat, closest to a vegetarian. And then we have B, which is gets less restrictive on vegetarianism, and AB is something in the middle between the two. Now, the doctor that proposed this diet originally thought that type O was our original diet that humans had, our blood type, that type O blood was what the caveman blood type was. Well, actually, we found out that's not quite true right now. It appears that type A was the closest that we had, like back in the Neanderthals. And you know, we've been able to get actual tissue samples from some of these human remains, and we feel that type A was the original. So does this work? Well, first of all, these diets are fairly healthy. They stay away from processed foods, and they restrict wheat. They do restrict some calories, and in all instances, people have been able to lose weight and manage their bodies with any one of these A, O, B, and AB. But the data has shown that it has had so far nothing to do with the blood type. So you choose one of those types and stick to it, and you will probably lose weight. But across all the data that has ever been looked at, it's never been shown that the blood type matched to that particular diet has had any specific effect. In other words, you give the type O diet to a type O blood person, and you give the type O diet to a type A person, and there was no difference. It was a good diet by itself. So unless we see some data somewhere, I have to say that the jury is still out, because there's been no data. But they're healthy diets. Choose the one you like. If we move into the South Beach diet, I know probably outside of the US that may not be very well known, but it was one of the most popular diets in the last 10 or 20 years. It's actually the Atkins diet with more carbs. It's the Atkins diet with more carbs. This doctor was a cardiologist, and he noticed that, like a lot of cardiologists have noticed, that people were full of inflammation. So he built a low carb diet that still allowed for breads and pasta, things like that, because he said it's just too restrictive. You can't say don't eat any carbs. That's ridiculous. So let people have some carbs. It'll take longer to lose weight, but it definitely works. I think it's a very healthy diet. My only problem with the South Beach diet is that he's very anti-saturated fat. And as you know, you remember a couple of months ago, we went through fats and cholesterol, and there is no data whatsoever that says that unsaturated fats are unhealthy for you. It does not exist. And I actually pulled up the scientific papers for you and gave the quotes in there that said data does not support a diet low in unsaturated fats. So that's like butter, as an example. And animal fats. I pointed out that we store our energy as saturated fat. So it doesn't make any sense that our own body would store energy as a poison to us. So we're going to store it as an unsaturated fat, and we're going to use it, and it's going to give us a heart attack. No, the data is just not there. So unsaturated fats in moderation are okay for you. They're okay for you. Don't go out and eat a kilo of butter. Come on, I've tried to tell you to be realistic here. Cut back on your calories. Cut back at least a little bit. Have a balanced diet. Get rid of refined carbs, though. That's one thing I will say as far as a group of foods. Reduce refined carbs. That's table sugar. That's things made out of table sugar, like glaze on donuts. It also includes refined wheats like doughs, and a piece of bread, white bread. This is really just sugar in your body. Reduce those. And hydrogenated vegetable oil, Crisco, that's a poison. You should never have it even in your house. So that's my personal recommendation is, I think you ought to, works for me, go on a paleo diet. If you can't stick with that, go to the South Beach diet, but don't be afraid of all animal fats. Another problem I have with the South Beach diet is he recommends things like tofu. And when you're a vegetarian, you're looking for meat substitutes, and soybean oils and soybean derivatives play a big role in those diets. Listen, they're poison. I'm sorry. They are a poison to you. They're full of lectins, which are an anti-nutrient, and they have a tremendous amount of omega-6 fatty acids. Now, we want to have omega-3 fatty acids. We do need some omega-6, but we want to have a lot of omega-3s and not very many omega-6s. And soybean is the other way around, heavy into omega-6s. So what does have omega-3s? You've all heard it. Fish. Most fatty fish are great for that. There's several nuts that are high in omega-3s. And avocados, omega-3s. You can do it. It's not that difficult. It's not that expensive. At least, where I am, fish is literally a dime a dozen. Eat a lot of fish to start with. Now, if you have reasons that you don't want to do that, or if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, you're going to have to come up with some alternatives other than these soybean products. I'm telling you, don't do it. It's going to make you sick in the long run. But diets such as the South Beach that have a very little bit of refined carbohydrates, they do allow some carbs, like, like a sweet potato is carbs, but it's a very good carbs, high density nutrients in a sweet potato. And some even white potatoes are better than others. The colored ones are better than the pure white ones. The Klondikes, the yellow ones, are better than the pure white ones, like the Dutch varieties. Remember, eat with color. The more color, usually, the better it is for you. You need to stay away, though, from the nightshades in these diets, in any of these diets. What are nightshades? Well, nightshades are poisonous. If a cow got a hold of a nightshade, it would kill them. This also includes bell peppers, eggplant, and tomatoes. So use those sparingly. Don't have tomatoes every single night. Tomatoes and pasta, that's a bad combination. And the reason that something like the Mediterranean diet works so well is because it is loaded with everything else that is so good. It's loaded with things like olive oil, and their pastas are much more dense than ours are. They're not as refined. They do drink red wine, which is great for your heart. And everything else in those diets is very good for you. So it kind of overcomes the negative part of the tomatoes and the pasta itself. So if we took a Mediterranean diet and then reduced some of the pasta and tomatoes, boy, that would be a super diet. And then what do you have? You get back into a type of paleo diet. The worst diet on the planet, of course, is the Western diet. You take a list of everything that is bad, and that's what's in the Western diet. Refined everything, processed everything. And I was raised on a diet like that, and it took a lot of time for me to get away from it. These are my foods that, my comfort foods. And I had to get away from it. I had to get away from having grits every morning. But you know what? The bacon and eggs are just fine. And everybody here on this call has something going on like that, whether it's the Philippines or Australia or Thailand, wherever. You're going to find out that things like refined rice, not good for you. I'm sorry. I got to tell that to you. Just because it's popular is not a reason for you to say, oh, I ought to eat that, because these things were not known. They were not even known several hundred years ago. Not until we got into strong, high cultivated agriculture did we start producing things like the wheat we have today and the rice we have today. And we did not eat it in the tremendous amounts that we eat. So let's just recap that a little bit. Atkins Diet, that is almost no carbohydrates, and you go into ketosis, which forces your body to hunt for energy from fat. So you do burn your fat stores. As soon as you start adding in sugar back into your diet, carbohydrates back, it switches right back into a regular standard glucose energy dependent diet. So you have to stay down there. That's why a lot of people go on Atkins for a while, a month or two, they lose weight, and then they get back on a more normal diet, because then they can sustain it and it won't damage things like their kidneys. And then we have paleo diet, which is a little more carbs in there, and it does depend on saturated fats. They're not afraid of them. And then we have South Beach diet, which is even a little more carbs. So you can see that progression there. And then we have the blood type diet that we just went over, which all four of those diets are fairly good diets, because they do eliminate a lot of refined sugar. They eliminate a lot of the wheat. They eliminate some milk product, which of course gives people a lot of trouble. So they will work, but it's not because I feel, I think I can say professionally feel, it's not because it's related specifically to your blood type. So you could take any one of those blood type diets, A, O, B, AB, go on it, and you will do well. You'll lose weight. But it's not all about weight. We were talking about body management, not just lose weight. Don't get hung up on how much you weigh. Get hung up on your fat muscle composition. Pull out the tape measure. Don't get on the scale every day. And you, on any of these diets, you'll find out that you do, except for Atkins, you will start gaining muscle mass and you'll reduce the fat stores and your waist will go down. Add in exercise. Please add in exercise. Get up off the couch every now and then. And, you know, like me, I want a beer. I got to go to the other end of the house to get into the refrigerator. So I count that until I walked, 500 meters a day. No, you need to move. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to sweat yourself. You don't have to do cardio an hour every day. Move. That's the biggest problem I see in people that come to me is they just don't move like they used to. Walk if you can. Be flexible. Work on that. Stretch. And then every now and then do a little bit of a jog. Do a little bit of a jog. Short burst, not a lot. I'm not saying run a marathon. So move. Every now and then do something, a burst of energy. Every now and then pick up something a little bit heavy. That is not strain your back. Be careful. And what you have is you're actually duplicating what we do, what the hunter-gatherers do. The hunter-gatherers. They move all the time. They walk constantly. They're gathering. They're hunting and gathering. Every now and then they run and jog. Every now and then they have to move something heavy. This is normal activity for people. Walk. We used to walk. You know the advantage humans have against all other animals. We can do sustained walking, sustained jogs all day. Other animals can't do that. That's why we were able to chase down these animals and use them for food. We're meant to move. We're meant to walk. If you do have to sit down, and like myself, you have an office job, you need to get up out of that chair every hour, stretch, move around, 5 or 10 minutes, get up. I actually have to set a timer because I get really focused and I find I've been in the chair for 3 hours. It's ridiculous, Joe. So I set a timer. I get up, stretch, walk around the house, trip around the outside of the house, go back and sit down. And that has enormous benefits. Now, anyone that wants us to go into some other specific diets, I'm glad to do that. Things like Jenny Craig, those type of diets, they aren't restrictive as much as their portion control and calorie control. And they include interesting food in there so you don't get bored. But that's mostly a disciplined diet. Reduce your calories, reduce portion size, and eat throughout the day, have some healthy snacks. And yes, you will lose weight, but in every instance, you need to do some type of low to moderate exercise. Now, there's nothing wrong with big exercise if you want to do it. Go for it. But everyone doesn't have to think, oh, I'm not going to exercise because I can't maintain it. I'm telling you that just walking around the house is also exercise. Move, please. So, Jackie, what do you think about that?
Well, Dr. Ahrens, a couple of things. Having a fitness background myself, I'm a huge believer in moving because an old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that goes for all body management. If we do not use it, we do lose it. So we lose muscle mass, we lose mobility, and so forth. But look, I'm a huge believer in looking at what diet really does suit the individual and finding that key element. But what I wanted to touch base on, because there has been a request here, there's quite a few new people on here, Dr. Ahrens, and one of the main leaders has asked specifically if you wouldn't mind explaining to us an overview on the benefits of tying Emulin into our daily routine and the difference between Emulin M, Emulin C, and how our bodies can benefit, how it assists and supports us in our daily life, and why it's so essential, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Yeah, sure. So I do like to talk about Emulin, but I really, this meeting we have every Thursday, I want it to be on general health as much as possible and not just an advertisement, but Emulin. But Emulin is essential for your health. We discovered this back in 2002, actually on a diet. We were looking to see if strange grapefruit diet would help you lose weight. And so we did a study. It's published. It was done in the Scripps Institute. And they found out that, yes, adding grapefruit to your diet, a serving of grapefruit a day, does cause you to lose weight. And I was very interested in what was in there that caused that. And that actually caused my partner and I to make the company ATM Metabolics. And we spent the next several years finding out, well, what was in grapefruit. And we found out there was something there. And it's not just in grapefruit, it's in mostly all the tropical plants. Well, the origin of the species is in all tropical fruits and vegetables. And in fact, every time there is a big carbohydrate load like sugarcane, these ingredients, which we now are calling Emulin, are there in a large quantity. So why would that be? Well, further experiments showed that this is a carbohydrate manager, that nature has provided these sugar chaperones that guide the sugar to where it should be, help it get into muscle and brain tissue and keep it out of fat tissue, help the insulin response be lower, and it helps the sugar not flood into your body so quickly. So when you take refined sugar, it floods into your body, insulin peaks, and that causes your body to pump all that sugar right into your fat cells. That's the purpose of insulin, is to put sugar into fat cells. That's it. Sugar will go into your cells without insulin, but you have to let it come in very slowly. And this is what this Emulin does. It's we found a combination of 3 polyflavonoids that manage sugar metabolism from A to Z. We thought that was the end of the story. We found out, though, in a second phase of research, that they have another function, and that is to manage inflammation. And that's very interesting, because what happens if you take just refined sugar in your body? Your body goes into inflammation. It actually thinks it's a poison. And as you take refined sugar, when everybody does, from birth to death, everything is sugar. All these things I mentioned is really just sugar, a different form of sugar. Bread is sugar. Table sugar, of course, is sugar. Even honey is sugar. But honey also has these flavonoids in it, so it's better for you. But with these refined sugars, your body goes into inflammation. It's trying to get rid of a poison, and you flood your body constantly with these sugars. So not only do you need it to digest the sugars, the natural sugars that are there anyhow in fruits and vegetables, but these refined sugars, it helps with that, of course, too. And it calms down that inflammation. It manages inflammation. You get out of chronic inflammation. And if you are in chronic inflammation, you can end up going into a disease condition. So this product does not treat any disease itself. It just supports your body's carbohydrate metabolism, and it manages your inflammation, your immune system. It really is essential that you have it. So why don't you just go out and eat all these natural products? Because we've actually bred it out of there. There's in sugarcane, as an example, if you take sugarcane and press out the raw juice and then just boil it down and use that as a sweetener, it has a much less negative impact on your body than if you take that white stuff, which is the same glucose, but it doesn't have any of those Emulin-like compounds in there. But there's still not enough. There's only like 1% that there should be. The dark berries, they're loaded too. The tropical berries, they're loaded. And you can't get enough. So you'd have to eat like, I don't know, 10 kilos of grapes every day in order to get enough of these compounds. So we isolated them, we purified them, and we concentrated them. And now you can take this Emulin just like you would have had back when the hunter-gatherer days. They got plenty of these bioflavonoids. But when should you take it? Well, after you take it for a couple of days, it builds up in your body and it stays there. The half-life is around 4 days. So it's not like you have to take it and build it up in your blood and then you eat food with it. Once you get it in your body, it doesn't matter when you take that Emulin. The first initial time that you take it, yeah, it probably has a different effect, but so then take it with food. But after like a week, take it whenever you want. I personally take it every morning when I get up. I have coffee. I take it with my coffee. And then in the afternoon, I usually make a type of smoothie. and my man shake, I call it, and I put some in there. So I split that out in the morning and the afternoon. But you could take it morning with your meals or without your meals. It won't matter.
Well, I want to also ask because some of us that are on this call, I know it's coming up 6 years that we've been taking Emulin for Dr. Ahrens, and it's personally, without making any claims, it's been life-changing. And just watching what it has, how it's assisted and supported in helping people in their day-to-day lives, including myself. And I know Dr. Ron Bossima Sr. as well. He's one of those people that's coming up to the 6-year mark as well. It's just been remarkable, and it is something that is essential that I know I cannot go without having Emulin in my life, because it has just completely changed my life. And as you know, because you've met with one of them, my specialists have written letters for me because they know that it has helped my body so much. But I wanted to also ask you, because I know there's new people on this call, you've also got 24/7 as well. So when we start looking if there is a perfect marriage, I believe the perfect marriage is having Emulin, and then you've got 24/7. And there's a reason for that, because one layers on top of the other. Would you like to just share a little bit of info in there as well for us, please?
Well, 24/7 has a lot more than just 3 ingredients in it. So the Emulin is just like a vitamin. So it's very simple. It's got 3 ingredients. They should be considered a vitamin-like compound. You need to take them all the time regardless. They'll help you. The first thing you'll notice probably is a fog lifts off your brain, because your sugar metabolism is getting better and you're not in a fog anymore. Those people that exercise, they say they have greater endurance. All those things you would associate with sugar metabolism. And then those people that do have some disease conditions, again, it does not do anything to the disease at all. It just, your body is what takes over, and your blood sugar normalizes, and your body is able to heal itself. That includes IBS and all inflammatory things, just your body doing it. And 24/7, though, we were approached actually by Valentis to provide a product that would help people that want to have better weight management. So what we did there is we have Emulin, and we have one of the ingredients in Emulin is in the 24/7, but we layered in there other things that would help you in your lifestyle, like it will help you with your appetite, give you more energy during the day without being jittery. There's no stimulants in here. It's just efficient sugar metabolism, building on what Emulin's already doing. It's kind of supercharging that part of it. So you're brighter, you can think clearer, because your capillaries are more flexible. And then in the nighttime, it's a 2-part formula. One of them is for the day, take it at breakfast and lunch. And then there's a nighttime, take it at dinner and the evening. So that is to make sure that you're not all wound up. It kind of calms you down. There's a little melatonin in there, and it makes you have a restful sleep. But it still helps you process those carbs, because you eat at 5, 6, 7, or 8 at night, you go to sleep, you've got a load of food in your body, and you still need effective processing of those food items. So we included a couple of things that would help the proteins break down, still help the sugars, but make certain that that sugar metabolism doesn't lead to overexcitability or perk you up too much, because you need to calm down. And you got to remember, we talked about sleep. Go in and sleep, calm yourself down, 8 or 9, 10 o'clock, slow down, stop, get off your phone, turn off all those lights, those little blue lights all over your house. When you wake up at 2 in the morning and you look around, it looks like a blue room. Every little device has a little blue light on it. It's actually, you can almost read by it. Those things absolutely mess up your serotonin, melatonin cycle, and will cause you to have a very pitiful sleep. So you get up in the morning, expose yourself to natural bright white blue light, which is sunlight. That gets rid of the melatonin and the serotonin, which is the awake part of your body. It builds up, and then as you go through the day, it gets to the end, serotonin drops off and melatonin comes back in. That blue light interferes with that cycle. So prepare yourself for sleep, get in a good sleep habit, get a good temperature of sleep, get off of those phones, and stay away from those blue lights. So that's where 24/7 fits in. It's kind of a complement to Emulin. Emulin is a backbone, but 24/7 kind of fits in around that Emulin. And then we have two types of Emulin. One is Emulin C. It's to help you manage your blood sugar, help your body support a good blood sugar level. So if you have concerns over your blood sugar, you should probably take the C. And we have the M. It's for everyone else. That just M stands for maintenance.
So, Dr. Ahrens, when we talk about Emulin M for everybody else, that also includes, because I have my fur babies or my dogs sitting either side of me, you can give this to your dogs, you can give this, and there's no reference here in order here either, so I apologize, but it's essential. Like even when we're looking at pregnant mums through to babies, through to children, as you've said, from womb to tomb. It's literally for everybody, but your fur babies or your dogs, your horses, anybody that's a mammal can literally take this product. Is that correct?
Yes, mammal, and we're mammals. Any mammal, and probably outside of animals, but I'm a mammal physiologist. Yes, all mammals need it. If you look at the diets of dogs today, I mean, for the longest time, it was just cereal. A dog never ate cereal in its life in the wild, but for the longest time, it's cereal. Now you'll see that a lot of modern dog food don't have as much cereal in them. And then they got on a big rice kick for a while. So now it's more protein, more saturated fats. That's good for those dogs. Nevertheless, they, just like us, do not get enough of these polyflavonoids. They're just like us. And in the wild, when dogs were on their own, they would get Emulin-like compound from just going through their daily lives and eating whatever they happen to find. And dogs absolutely will eat on herbs and grasses and berries and things of that nature. You know, they stay away from grapes, for instance, but they would eat a lot of different things. They don't just eat meat, and they got enough. You'll find out if you give your dogs Emulin product that, yeah, their skin will get tremendously better. And it's all gets back to inflammation management, their immune system management, and even dogs, German Shepherds with hip dysplasia, they will improve. Their cartilages will improve. Just can go on and on about that. Just like ourselves as humans, they will improve too.
And when we talk about animals, someone's just asked as well. It's, as I said, it's cats. We've even had somebody that has used Emulin for a monkey that we had on here. They were asking about a monkey, as I said, through to horses. Cats are fine too, aren't they, Dr. Ahrens?
Yeah, all of them, all mammals. So you want to dose them, just use your own same dose. You know, we set up for an average person 2 capsules a day. So you can just divide that down to weight. Like a large dog probably take a half a capsule a day. And with children, do the same thing. You can take a capsule and mix it into a drink that they're going to have during the day. Like my granddaughter likes grape juice, and we just dump a capsule on her breakfast and put the rest in her juice, and she drinks it throughout the day. So, you know, they don't want to take a capsule, and neither dogs don't either, but you can take it and sprinkle it right on their dog food. But it's not a lot, half a capsule for a large dog. Your tiny dogs, it would be even less than that, but you can't hurt them. There's no way to overdose on this product. It's impossible. It's eliminated through the skin and through the urinary tract. And that's actually, if there is a skin condition, that actually will help. You can kind of say overdose them, and it'll go to their skin and improve their skin greatly.
Well, Dr. Ahrens, I really want to thank you, because today, like, we've covered quite a few topics, from the blood type diet into the South Beach diet, which I learned about. I happen to live on South Beach, but not what you're talking about. But it's always interesting to understand and to ignite some questions, and to ignite some interest in how we can actually make some choices, lifestyle choices. And we were talking about it earlier on a previous call. It's not what we can see, it's what we can't see on the inside that we really truly want to be concerned about. And then we start to shine on the outside because of what we're fueling our bodies with. So, you know, the information that you fuel us with, our food choices that we fuel ourselves with, can only benefit us as we go forward. So I really want to thank you, Dr. Ahrens, because I learn something every single week on here. So is there anything you'd like to finish this call off with today?
Well, you know, you've heard us say it before, and for the new people here, everybody needs Emulin. It's not just a supplement. It's something that's actually required for your body. You take that Emulin and you'll see a change. If you've got some severe issues, you'll see the greatest changes. But even if you think you're totally healthy, this will put you where you should be. It's not on top of anything. You know, Serena Williams takes this product and she thinks it helps her get to that edge, helps her get to where her potential is. It's about your potential. It's not adding some drug in there that hijacks your metabolism and causes it to do unnatural things. Everyone needs this. A baby, a mother should be on Emulin, and the baby will get it through the milk. And a young child, as it grows and develops, absolutely needs these vitamin-like compounds, just like they need vitamin C and D and E and K and all the others. Adolescents developing, and then you get into young adults, and then they're going to get ready to have children. All of these are development stages. And then you get into, as an elderly person, you absolutely need to maintain your body because it's in disrepair, and we've not taken care of ourselves our whole life. So everyone needs Emulin, cradle to grave.
And Dr. Ahrens, I just want to add one more thing to this because I think it's really important for these new people that are on today, and we do welcome you and thank you, is that Emulin M itself also has an added bonus on there too in regards to having what we call the BSCG, so the Banned Substance Control seal on that. So if you're not sure what that is, please look it up because it's actually gone through a rigorous process to ensure that it lets you know that it is a safe product to take for anybody in sport of any age, and also for people that are in the workplace that are regularly drug tested. This product has gone through a rigorous process of up to 496 illicit substances that have been put into the product. They must be able to be taken out, and that's been done. So it's passed that test, and then therefore it's got the Banned Substance Control seal and Emulin M. So have a look onto the website for that, because that's another big tick and a big bonus for what this product can provide and where you're able to share it as well. So I want to thank you so much, Dr. Ahrens, because as always, it's just a wealth of knowledge on these calls every week, and we do have something on here each week. And if you would like to hear something in particular, please email into info@drjosephahrens.com, and we will try and accommodate you as best we can. So thank you so much, Dr. Ahrens, and thank you everybody, each and every one of you who are on this call today with us today, and for those that watch it afterwards as well. We thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Ahrens. Thanks, Jackie.